Welcome to the podcast What the Flex, where I talk to badass women about their health, wellness, and fitness journeys. My name is Uta, and I am your host. Today I'm sitting down with Maria, a former competitive athlete turned entrepreneur who knows a thing or two about taking risks, stepping up, and making bold moves, both in the court and in business. We talk about her love for tennis, why she walked away from professional sports to rediscover the joy in movement, and how the mental game of competition translates into the world of entrepreneurship. Maria shares what it takes to balance multiple passions, why getting uncomfortable is always the right move, and how trusting the process, whether in sports or business, can change everything. So if you're ready to shake things up and start playing your game, let's dive in. And now keep flexing. Enjoy listening. Hey Maria, it's super nice to have you here. I am especially excited to talk to you. We actually don't know each other that long. I still remember the day or the evening when we met. It was on one of Dominic's and I think it was SDRs of Germany's event in Cologne before the ZP Cologne that everyone always anticipates every year. But we had a super fancy and nice dinner, and that's where we met. And I still remember you told me what you do and that you are the founder of Koyos, and that rang a bell. Before I knew you, I already knew your company. And I remember asking you, like, what's the biggest learning for you as a new entrepreneur, as a new founder? And I remember you gave a similar answer to what a lot of people told me, because I'm also new to a managing director role. So I'm super curious, oh my God, what's new? And I, of course, struggle with a lot of things. And you did mention something that have, like, a lot of people have told me already. It's the like, do not postpone decisions and stuff like that. It's like, okay, this must be a big thing. So I still try to adhere to that tip. And I'm sure you have a lot of other tips. And I'm very excited to dive a little bit deeper into your life, into your business life, of course, and how your private and fitness life influences that. And of course, we have talked a little bit about your life so far. And you told me you used to play tennis on a very professional level, a lot of tennis, but you also played soccer, you ran, and you were dancing. So you were like doing so many things. But tell us, how did that start? How did this come about?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And also for all the nice words. And I'm so happy to hear that you still remember all the facts about our first evening. We got to know each other. Very happy we met there. Maybe first tip for everyone, go to networking events. They're very special and you can meet tons of great people for your life. So very happy to be here. Yeah, how actually did it start? As you can see already, I love to dance on all kind of weddings. Same with sports. But it started going to tennis camps actually as a child. So both of my parents are working a lot. And there also was a challenge then in the end when children are having holidays, and much more holiday than parents do have when they are working. And that's why we were in tennis camps, like in summer and autumn, but also like at Easter. And there we were playing tennis for 5 days with a group of also young children. And that was basically the starting point of doing some sports. And also my mom is a doctor, so she knows how important sports is for life, and also both are playing tennis. So that was kind of the starting point, and having fun while doing sports. Yeah.
Nice, yeah. So that was basically the first and very big thing. Your parents also played tennis, is what you told me. And at some point you became the is it called ball girl or ball person, like the people that
yeah, exactly. It was also like when my parents had their training, I just went there, helped them with getting the balls and also being on court and seeing how much fun it is. So yeah, being a lot in the tennis club. And then also finding my love to the sports, even though I had some times actually where maybe I was too young to decide on my own to really go there, but I was alone at home, and then I had to motivate myself every single week to go there, or privately watching TV while my parents are not at home. So to be honest here, sometimes I missed training because I maybe was at home, and this is probably the biggest change to my age now, or maybe also the last 5 to 10 years. I would never, ever miss a training session anymore for watching TV or doing something else, because I enjoy it so much. And I know that the sports gives me so much. And I really also need it as a balance for my work.
Yeah, I can imagine. I used to be I used to go to dancing sessions, rock and roll, but my grandparents, they also always drove me there. But I can imagine if it was just me deciding whether I go, of course I would have stayed to watch Sailor Moon or something.
Yes.
But yeah, I had to go to training sessions. Yeah. Okay, but that was, I guess, already at an kind of older age, when your parents were, like you said, they were working a lot. So oftentimes it was you that had to go to training on your own. How, like, you play tennis still to these days very actively. You said, how often do you go? I think you said twice or three times a week or something?
Exactly, like 2 or 3 times, having trainings and matches a week.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm curious to understand, like, I mean, you got introduced to the sport by your parents, and you mentioned earlier you found out how much you love the sport. How did that happen? Because oftentimes it's like what our parents tell us we should be doing, or what they introduce us to is maybe not the stuff that we love most. How did you figure out it's also what you want to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was always very open for sports, and also, like, for example, I loved also basketball. Playing that at school. You too? Nice, love it.
Well, I was like that too because you're doing everything.
That too. Yes, also basketball. So I had tons of sports. I very quickly realized I love every kind of sport with balls because I was simply very good at it. That's, yeah, then when you have fun, actually. But I realized already I can't do everything. So tennis was then the thing I did most, and also in combination with my parents, and also my brother was playing tennis. And then I also made friends there, of course, because you see them every week. And I think this was also something that pushed it. And of course, also if you train for a longer time, you get better, and then you win the first matches. And then for me, this was also something that always drives me in my life. If you have success at what you do and you realize you're getting better and the training is worth it, actually was then also a point where I said, okay, now it's also a lot of fun to play with my parents on holidays. So it was kind of a mixture of everything around it, that it was just everywhere in my life. And also we love to watch tennis at home, like the big tournaments like US Open, Wimbledon, French Open. And then, yeah, it was kind of also having some idols like the Williams sisters, of course, but also some others. And then, yeah, it was my sport, kind of.
Nice. I remember it must be so cool. Your whole family was playing tennis and was passionate about the sport, right?
Yes, everyone.
Yeah, that is super cool. Have you watched the movie, by the way, about I forgot what it was called. It's mostly about the father and how
Yes.
Yeah, super nice. So to all of the listeners, I will put the name in the show notes because I do not remember the name. Do you remember the name, Maria?
Right now thinking of it, but I'm really, really bad in words, but in names. But maybe it will come to my mind because, yeah, of course, the movie about the Williams sisters and the father, is very, very nice. And that's also something where you see how tough it is. Like, it always looks so easy. And everyone is like, oh, they are earning so much money. But to really get in this list of the top 100 tennis players in the world is a lot of work. So it's really not easy to get even close to it. This is maybe something I realized very early, like maybe when I was 13 or 14, that I'm not good enough, or at least training 5 or 6 days a week was not something I liked to be one of the professional players and really earn money with it. So that was kind of a very early decision that it will simply be a hobby for myself.
Wow. Okay. Because I'm curious, because we did speak a little bit about it in the preparation of this podcast, and how the whole process is. Because in the movie, before watching the movie, I had literally no idea really what tennis entailed and how hard the sport actually is. But as a 13-year-old teenager coming to a conclusion, saying, okay, I'm giving up a professional career that maybe up until this point has been totally something that you were working towards. How did you decide this completely on your own? Did you talk to because I reckon you also had a coach, like were you influenced by your parents or someone else? How did this come about?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think somehow you always, as a child, dream a little bit of, oh, this could be me. If you see it on TV, like playing at the big tournaments. But then my trainer was already pushing us really, really hard. And also in training, I realized already, I don't want to. I don't want to run those 10 miles again or whatever it was in the end. And then I realized that when I'm thinking back of the time that my parents were always open for driving me everywhere, like there's another tournament, okay, sure, we go there. So they really tried to give me at least the chance if I wanted to use it. I remember this very, very well. Also, when I started playing soccer, there I was also playing a bit better and getting an upper level. So they were always driving me everywhere. But I realized that I actually didn't want to go this way because it was simply too much pressure also, like, yeah, then if you want this, you have to come today, tomorrow, or 3 times a week, and you cannot just play tennis. You also need to go running, do other trainings and so on, because really for tennis also, it's really, really important to not just have a good schlag. I don't know the English word right now. Hitting the ball very well. Exactly, but you also need to be super fast, super reactive, and yeah, tons of other stuff, which is very important. Also, have a good core that you're standing correct to the ball and so on. So tons of stuff. So I decided I just want to have more fun, and I don't want it to be just about winning every game. And I'm very, very happy I did this decision because now I got tons of lovely friends from tennis, but I was also able to start soccer, to start dancing, to really enjoy, or also start running, enjoy tons of sports and not just tennis alone.
That is so cool. Because I admire this a lot, being able to say, okay, this is how far I want to come. And now I take the competition part out of it and I just do this for the enjoyment part of it. Maybe that's also the one building block or base for you that ensured that you can still enjoy the sport up until today, you know? Maybe to draw the line to how you work today, because you do say that your fitness journey and how you work out and all the stuff that you do also influences obviously how you work today, how your life as a founder works out. And I mean, we spoke about it in the beginning. You have to be able to make a lot of decisions. And obviously you were able to make a lot of good decisions for you very early on. How would you say your fitness routines and everything that you have experienced so far in your life influences that in your professional career?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for drawing the line. And I think there are a few aspects, actually, how there are all the parallels between founding your own company and also maybe to just add that, my previous job doing sales in a software company where you had also long sales cycles and where you had a lot of good competitors. And you really need to see in the end if you can win this deal, which is kind of the same like winning a match, and really training for it, being ambitious. And I think what I learned is fighting until the end. And this is also something you need in sales, even if you think you might lose it, or every single deal, prospect, lead, every customer, you need to start fresh and you need to start it with a mindset, I can win this. And especially also like the toughest matches are the best ones for you because you will learn the most and you will leave your comfort zone. And I think there are a lot of things that really helped me also in my job that I knew, okay, I don't need to be the best from the beginning on, but if I'm not the best or if I'm not like a born seller, that's what I always love to say, you're not born as the best seller, but you can simply train and work on yourself and then you will get better and then you would know you can win those deals or whatever. And this was the same for founding my company. I knew that there are actually tons of things I don't know yet, but I know from my past, from playing tennis, but also running a marathon, if I invest in myself and if I stay focused over a longer period and I'm not just speaking of 3 months, but like speaking about a year or even longer, I can handle those challenges. And I think this was the best learning for me, that even if I don't see it now, if I invest in it and if I try it out, I can win. And if I lose, I tried it and I can learn from it. And this is also something that is very, very helpful. And if you lose today, you can still win tomorrow. So just believing in yourself, basically.
I love that. Even though you did not become the next Serena of tennis, do you think you're the sales Serena, or you still have the chance sales Serena?
Indeed, I would say so, even though there can be even more sales arenas. But very funnily, like I love to play tennis with my sister, and our last name is Wenning, and we are known as the Winning Sisters, like just changing the E to the I. Because, yeah, we are just a perfect team. We know each other and we've really worked on playing together very, very well. And yeah, this is also something very, very great that you can win a lot if you are working together in a team. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I feel parallels between your sisterhood with with your sister and mine, because my sister and I were also like this. We don't play tennis. She's probably the least sporty person I know, but we bond on so many other levels. It's nice to have a sister. So yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. But Maria, from what we spoke about earlier, like when you made a decision, for example, with tennis, okay, this is something where I have to decide for myself. I'm not going to continue this competitively. Have you had a moment yet in your career where you had to make a similar decision?
Yeah, I think actually Koyos is the first thing I really did in the end, but I had a lot of ideas before I founded Koyos, because maybe it's also because both of my parents are also in that sense entrepreneurial or having managing jobs. I always had this somehow in myself. When I started working and so on, I had tons of ideas to found my own company. Even one time, I think we were working on the topic 1 year, and a lot of work was in the project already. And of course, we also had the idea of making this very, very large. To everyone who's maybe listening, it's a dating app I'm talking about. So thanks to my team who was working together with me on this idea. But after a year, we just felt it's not the right decision to do it now. And it was not easy, but we really, we're going deep in ourselves, saying like, what's the pro, what's the con for the topic. And in the end, we realized it's not the right moment, or it's not the right team, or whatever it was. It just didn't feel right. So that was really tough. But also on the other side with Koyos, I loved my job before that at Hype. I was there nearly 10 years. I was very, very successful. I earned a lot of money. Like everything was perfect. But in the end, I realized I need to step out of my comfort zone, and I need to do it now to not regret it. So that was also not one of the easiest decisions. I cried a lot when I spoke to my manager and said I will leave. But the best decisions are often the ones where you have to step out of your comfort zone just a tiny bit, because you will grow so much.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. But did I get this correctly that the initial idea you had was a dating app?
It was not the initial one, but just before Koyos, I was working 1 year on a dating app with a team to, also found that company. But then in the end, we didn't found it. But yeah, it was a breakfast delivery. It was a Mexican restaurant chain. So there were tons of stuff I already had in my mind. Starting even in my childhood, I wanted to have my own hotel because I love traveling so much. And I was a waitress for 10 years. So yeah, tons of ideas. Yeah. But I'm very happy that I now founded Koyos. And yeah, this is also something I really love, and helping others in sales is also, a topic deep of my.
Maybe taking that as an example, the dating app idea that you have like poured in a lot of effort and ideas and work for an entire year. When you finally decided, okay, this is not the right time, we're not going to do this. It might be easy to feel like you're giving up or something. Just like maybe with something when you say, I'm not going to play tennis competitively anymore. And I feel like sometimes when you give up, it's a fine line, right? You can say maybe for yourself, I'm not doing this anymore because I'm realizing this is not my path. And the fine line being with, I'm giving up. And this is something that is very frowned upon, I think, in society, where people are like, oh, she gave up too early. How did you feel something like that? Or were you super firm in your decision and you thought, this is it, like I'm 100% firm, this is not going to work?
Yeah, very good question. I think I was not sure about it, because also you often have a feeling like, oh, I did so much already for it. What if it's just one more thing and it will work out? And it's the same with so many other things, but somehow I felt like it's not the right thing anymore. And also, at least I'm very optimistic. So for me, it was like, okay, it doesn't feel right, but I'm sure there's something coming. I was always open for new ideas, new things, and always thinking of, okay, what else could be there? And just talking with others also then really, really helps. And I think it was the same with my sports. Like there was a time where I had 6 days a week. I had sports because 2 times a week I played tennis, 2 times a week I played soccer, and 2 times a week I went dancing. And then I realized like after 2 years, or maybe it was even 3 years, that everything of it doesn't feel 100% right, because everywhere I need to cut off time. I can go dancing 2 times a week, but afterwards I cannot stay. Or at the weekends we cannot meet because I have my soccer appointments or my tennis appointments. And it's the same with friends and working and a relationship and whatever. Sometimes you just have to take the decisions that you can focus on one thing and not have of everything just a tiny bit. But yeah, in the end, it doesn't make you happy. So this was something I learned, like, I cannot continue dancing on all weddings because also my day don't get 48 hours. It's only 24. And that helped me to just think of a decision and take it and know I can go back if I want to. It won't hurt anyone if I say I stop it now, but if in 6 months I realize I miss it so much, then I go back. Nothing happened. Of course, you cannot do it with a job every time. But you don't always have to take a decision which is, set in stone forever. And I think this is also what helps me to, in the end, decide and just try it out.
I love that way of thinking because it's almost true for everything, right? No matter what decision you make, almost for all decisions, not for all, like every single one, but you can always go back. Especially I find it very interesting when people are thinking about moving or moving in with each other. I'm like, what's the big deal? If you don't like it, you just move on again,
Exactly. Yeah. And maybe I had the same, like, in the past, I loved all the apartments I was living at. And every time I was like, oh no, I can't leave it. What if I don't find another nice apartment afterwards, or I will miss the region so much? And in the end, actually, every single time I loved the new apartment. I loved the new area. And it will be the same also for the next one. So just take it, try it out, and you will see if it works out. And if it doesn't, then move on to the next.
Exactly. Going back to your time where you played tennis and soccer, because I did hear like there was a time where you did everything, soccer, tennis, dancing, right?
Yes.
And I remember, I think that was already the time where you have decided that you are not going to do tennis competitively. Yeah. And have you by then also already decided soccer is also not your competitive sport, or did that come after? Did you decide both is not going to be your competitive sport at the same time? How was that on a timeline in your life?
Yeah. So absolutely right. It was first the decision that tennis is not a professional sport for me, because otherwise I couldn't have even started with soccer. But it was also a little bit of the same time. Maybe starting soccer even helped me to decide, because I realized, okay, I also love other sport activities so much. I don't want to just focus on one thing. I also want to do other things. So then I started soccer and had a lot of fun with tons of friends. And there, I would say it was a little bit later, because soccer for women is a bit different than tennis, because there are less women playing. And in the end, you can also move upwards at a later stage. So in tennis, I would say you need to decide before being 10, actually, or 11 or 12 to really focus on it. In soccer, also, if you are really, really good at 15, you can still get to really good soccer schools and whatever it's called. And there, I would say until 16, I tried out a little bit and went to more training sessions and got sponsored and so on. But when I then made the finished school, I realized, okay, it's not that I want to have this struggle because also this is not really fair. If you play soccer professional, you don't really earn something. So you need a job next to it. And when I realized playing a little bit on a higher level, my whole Sunday was gone, because then you need to drive basically 2 hours to the opponent, and then you have the game and 2 hours back, and you're not allowed to drink at the evening before, of course, because you need to be fit. So, and in an age of 16, 17, 18, you also want to party with your friends and so on. So that was actually in the end also a decision where I said, okay, no, I love my time to spend it with also other stuff. And I'm not, I don't want to spend all the time for it and giving up other things. So
I would have also chosen life, to be honest. But some are dedicated enough to say, nope, I'm going to go with the soccer part of it. And I bet some did. So yeah, whatever. Even back then, you did so many things, right? So many sports. Would you say you're focused on one particular sport today?
Sorry, again, you mean a focus from back then, if it changed something for today?
Yeah, no, not really, because you were not really focused on one particular sport. I mean, yes, in the beginning you had tennis, but you always did so many things at the same time. Would you say that changed today and you are focused on a specific sport?
Pretty much, yeah. I would say I always have two, because I really love the balance and not just doing one thing. So I really love running, and also doing half marathons, doing marathons. And I love the combination of having this one sport for myself and then the other one. But yeah, of course, I would say I would never again do 3 kind of sports in teams. Like, of course, you can do something just for yourself, like running or riding a bike. And for example, I also like triathlons. And this is stuff you can just do for yourself and you decide when you do it. But the 3 team sports where you have fixed times, fixed slots and matches, or I don't know how you say it, dance acts, I don't know, where you just need to be there when it happens. That was definitely too much. So in that case, I can just do tennis, and running is like my add-on where I can decide when does it fit in.
Nice. The reason behind me asking is more like I sometimes felt I have to decide what I want to be good at, but I'm okay with the fact that I really love to just try things out, which is why, for example, I'm also on Urban Sports Club, because I think it's the perfect app for you to try new things. Like, I never did yoga before, so I tried yoga, figured out it's not really my thing, but you can go to Pilates, you can go bouldering, you can go normally to the gym, you can do like spin, whatever, right? And like, you can keep it very, very versatile so you don't get bored. But I always thought, I have to be an expert at a specific sport or something that I'm always doing, But it's cool to hear also that your story has been one of just keeping it spicy, like trying something new every time. Basketball, team sports, soccer, tennis here. So it's cool, I think, to just try out new things all the time and to keep it colorful.
Absolutely. And I can agree 100%, because, of course, it's also, I'm very ambitious and I really like it that I play tennis such a long time already, and I can see also how I'm getting better and the matches are more fun and so on. But I also love to try out things. So it's the same like with you, and I don't want to miss it. Like, sometimes playing tennis, sometimes going bouldering, sometimes do yoga with friends, and just trying out things where you say, I always wanted to try it out, and not just thinking of it, but then I need to invest more in it, that it really makes sense to be good at something. I think it's the combination of both, and to just being open of maybe finding something where you say afterwards, nice, I really like it. I want to spend more time with it. Like, I have lots of friends that said like, okay, yoga is nothing for me, and now they are a yoga trainer. It can happen by just trying out things and being open for it. Yeah. So really nice that you're the same in that direction. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should. You also have Urban Sports Club?
Not yet, because this is one of the decisions I had to make. I would love it, but if I'm very honest with myself, I wouldn't have the time every week that it would make sense with tennis and running and other stuff I'm trying out. But yeah, I should try it out for at least like half a year maybe, and see if I can squeeze it in.
Yeah, next year or so when we're at the ZP again, we can do some crazy stuff, because they have some really funny stuff to try out there. What I wanted to ask is, I mean, you did say you try out and like to try out a lot of new things and stuff. And what I'm always curious about is like, what is your goal that you try to achieve? And for you, it's very interesting because your goal is always to try something even crazier or achieve something even crazier, the next step, So you work your way step by step. Like, how does that look like in your life, in your professional life, and when you work out and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, so of course, I think with my work, I just want to see how far I can get and see what can be the next step and what can I do. And I learned a lot that it's really worth it stepping out of the comfort zone, because then you really, grow. And even though you're maybe nervous before it or you're not sure, there's maybe one huge tip of myself, which is also with sports: speak about it. So it was the same when I was unsure, should I do the marathon? Do I really want to train for it 3 months? And it will be tough and so on. I started talking about it to friends, and they were like, come on, Maria, of course you're doing the marathon. And I was like, okay, I will do it. And then there was no way back. And it's the same if you talk about ambitious goals for your work. Like really often you are, how do you say it? Zweifeln.
You doubt.
Yeah, you doubt if you are able to do it. But if you talk about it with friends, they're like, yeah, of course, Uta, you get the skills, go for it. You can do it. And then this really, really helps to trying out other stuff. So this is maybe a tip, to always get to the point of trying out something new, growing over yourself. And I'm also trying to still enjoy it. So I could go to tennis tournaments every week. I could do a professional marathon every month, but I know I would not have that much fun anymore. So this is also a key goal of myself. I want to do it until the limit, that it's fun for me and that it's the great balance of working, doing sports, enjoying my free time, basically.
Yeah. When's the marathon?
The next one is end of April in Düsseldorf, but just the half marathon this time, even though someone was punching me already on LinkedIn, like, Maria, why just a half marathon? Go for the full one. So now I'm already thinking a little bit about it, but I think, the half marathon in Düsseldorf, I would love to meet some people who are maybe hearing this now. Or how about you, Uta?
Not a runner. Because when you say, just a half marathon, I'm like, I mean, hello. You're running how many kilometers? I don't know. What's the half marathon? 20-something kilometers? How is that just a marathon?
It's 2 hours. It's not too long. It's like a long business meeting. Just that feeling, you're outside, you enjoy the fresh air. People are cheering, are telling you, Uta, you can do it. Move on.
I would join you on a bike. 2 hours on a bike, fine, but 2 hours running, I would walk. But no, I never liked running. So no, you can. I tried running marathons, the tiny ones, the 5-kilometer marathon, when I lived in Vienna. And I gave it a try, I think 3 times. And every single time I hated it to the gut. Wow. And at some point I said, okay, it's finally time to put the trial period aside and decide for myself, this is really not for me.
Yeah, that's also okay. It's like trying it out sometimes. And then if it's just not giving you something back, stop it.
Yeah.
Just find something else that's more fun for you.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
So I pushed a lot of people in running who hated it at the beginning. And now they are happy they did it with me. So maybe.
Maria, I'm not surprised because I do perceive you as a very convincing person. So I bet if I ever go running with you, maybe I would even start to like it. I don't know. But I have deep respect for everyone who runs marathons and who enjoys running, because to me, I think I had a runner's high once in my life, but I only realized, I think 10 years later, that was a runner's funny. And some people, they have it all the time. And I just remember it felt nice. That was the one time I really enjoyed running. If you have that a lot, I probably also would enjoy running if I had runner's highs a lot. But I'm
pretty sure you can get them. I would love to challenge you there. So maybe we can meet at least once. If you don't like it, you're free. Yeah. Free like a bird.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I actually tried to get my husband to run with me a little, because he used to run marathons a lot. He has an injury right now, but he's also big on running. And at some point I thought, okay, maybe I can start a hobby with him, something that he loves. And I was willing to give it a try for him, but he said, nah, not right now.
I don't want to do it with you. I would do it.
Okay, maybe one day. Maybe one day. I think I have to mentally prepare for that.
You do that. I will prepare you. And with
Okay.
some nice music and so on a
All
nice
right.
day with sunshine. You can do it.
Nice. Maria, one more thing I really wanted to dive into it before I forget, because when we were preparing for this, you mentioned something that I found oh, wow, that is something that I really want to hear more about. We were speaking about tennis, and you said tennis is like a brain fuck, and I initially didn't really understand it. And I asked you, what do you mean by that? Yeah, you're nodding. Maybe you can elaborate now. What exactly is it that you mean by that? So as a start?
Yeah, of course. It's really, really strange. You really fight against yourself on the tennis court because very, very often, you can play much better. And then on the court, like in the match, you can just not show it. Like in the training, you're not really nervous. You're just playing and you feel like, yeah, I can do it and let's try out things. And then you're playing your best tennis very often. But then just because it's a match and you can lose something, it changes the situation and you're getting a little bit shaky and you're starting to think too much. Like, what if I make this mistake now? What if I don't do this? Or it's just 4 points I need to make. And in the end, you won't make any of those points because you're just thinking way too much. And also in the sport, there are tons of tricks your opponents can also do, like pushing a little bit too much, being louder, just watching you aggressively. Or sometimes it's also a little bit unfair to really call balls out that were in and then you're fighting on the court. And yeah, a lot of things can happen. And you also need to watch your opponent on the court, like seeing, okay, where do they have strength? Where do they have a weakness? Can you then maybe play a little bit more with the weakness? For example, on Saturday, I just had a match and I realized because I'm playing a lot on the backhand, because usually people are better on their forehand. I play a lot on the backhand, but I realized that my opponent on Saturday was much, much better on the backhand. So I was like, okay, while playing, I had to think like, play in the forehand, play in the forehand, play in the forehand. But if you tell yourself the entire time play in the forehand, you're just doing mistakes. You're like, wait, why? It can't be that it's not working out now. Of course you can play on that side of the court. But yeah, you always have to bring yourself back and just think of the next point and not the next game and not the whole set. So really in tiny steps. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's really tough to explain it, but someone now hearing it, playing tennis will know, yes, I feel you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't play tennis. And when you explained that to me, that when you're in that moment, you no longer trust yourself is what you said, right? To perform on the basis that you can actually perform. Like a lot of times it makes sense when you see these star players and they put a ball in the net and you'd be like, how did that happen? It looks like the easiest thing to do, like to start the game, right? And then it ends up in the net. But when you explain that to me, the moment that is so full of pressure, like the 1,000 thoughts that probably go through your head, how hard, how much of a mental game this is.
Yes.
It all makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe to have a relation to it, like being a sales or being an extrovert. Of course, you can talk to people and you're not afraid of it. But then somehow you're on stage and need to talk to hundreds of people, even though it's a topic from your heart and you know it inside out. Somehow you're getting shaky, you're getting nervous. Can I do this? Can I not do it? And it's the same. Like, before that moment, you're not nervous at all and sure, I can do it. But then once you're on that stage, also, for example, maybe negotiating at a meeting or having a tough call, like you just said in the beginning of our meeting today, then everything switches in your head and you really need to fight against it mentally.
You're saying now that you fight against it. What is the one thing that you have learned from these situations to help you in stressful moments like those today?
Yeah. It's really like calming yourself down, trusting yourself that in a sense of you played this freaking ball, like, I don't even know, a million times in your life. And you can play that freaking ball. Now just trust yourself, believe in yourself that you can make this point and just do it. And then try to shut off your head. And also stepping a little bit back, like you're not losing your life. It's maybe a short moment where you can lose something or where you feel not the best, but nothing will happen. You will be fine. You will just grow from whatever you're doing in the moment. No one will laugh at you or whatever you think that you're not worth something. Nothing will happen in the moment. And this really helps me to stepping back and just understanding again, it's not saving my life if I will win this match now or if I will perform in the stage. It's like, enjoy the moment, enjoy that you are able to be on the court, to do this job and so on. And yeah, that helped me a lot.
Yeah, I like that. Also look at it from a holistic point of view. Even if I fuck this up now, no matter what happens, I'll be fine. The world will still evolve and everything's going to go just as it did before, But I think it's a feeling in the end that you want, right? It's the feeling of feeling like 100% I can perform here now the way I want to perform, not without having the hibbity-jibbities and feeling nervous and just not like yourself in the end. And I think maybe it takes practice, right? I don't know if do you still have those moments today where you feel out of the shell, like, okay, you really have to talk yourself into a calm mode?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I just had it on Saturday and it's really funny because one of my team even said like, Maria, I can see how you are thinking. I can see it from the bench, like, and I would love to scream over the court like, Maria, stop thinking, just play the freaking ball. And also like, I'm also screaming on court. I'm like, Maria, are you kidding me? Like, how stupid are you? And I just have to, shout it out. And then it helps for myself. But yeah, I have it very often, even though I'm playing over 25 years, it will never stop. That's also what I mean with a mental, that it's a brain fuck. Because as a child, actually, I was never thinking so much. It just started like in my mid-20s to think much more, because then you think more that you should be able to do it. And then you get angry when you not play the ball like you would like to play it and how you learned it. And as a child, you're like, yeah, I just play now. And then it works out. So yeah, this is something too where you can try to get back to. And taking a little bit out the pressure out of it, actually.
Yeah. I mean, to me today, whenever we hang out or we're at events together, you seem totally fearless. You just come up with these, and as you like to say, einfach mal machen, just do it.
Just do it.
You just do things, It's like you have literally zero fear whatsoever. I really love that about you, and I think that's super, super inspiring. Maybe a question to end this. If someone, since you know all the sports, if someone were to connect with you and be like, I want to show Maria my kind of sports, what would it be that you don't know yet? Like, what could people reach out to you with and say, hey, Maria, you want to try this? Where you're like, oh, I've actually never tried this before.
Wow, that's a really, really good question, because I tried out much more than I said today. But I would say I love everything with balls, seriously. So I also love like volleyball, badminton, and so on. So I think if there would be some kind of sport that's maybe missing, I also love padel. I'm definitely in for whichever sport someone would come up to at least try it out. Let me think a second. Like, what's the sport I ever thought maybe I want to try it out? I don't know.
There is like this thing. What is, maybe ask another question? What is something that because you said you're really, really good at motivating people to work out and do something. What's the one that you're best at motivating people? Is it running or something else?
Yeah, I think it's running.
Okay.
It's definitely running, because I know it's so easy to just start off and get someone in the routine. And I think what I'm also really good at is holding people accountable and supporting them to really achieve a goal, like I also did for friends who then started running and also starting to love longer runs. I did marathon training plans for them in the end, that for them it's easier to stick to it. I was meeting them on a regular basis to help them get into a routine. And I think it's running for sure.
Okay. Maria, founder, runners, motivational coach, and totally badass woman overall. Thank you so much for taking the time. Where, maybe to end this, where could people connect with you if they want to hear more?
Yeah. I'm super happy to be connected on LinkedIn. Just reach out, maybe drop it in a message, or just try to connect. But also, of course, put my number in the description or my email address, whatever. I'm super, super happy to talk about sports, as you see, and getting to know other people.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Maria, for your time.
Thank you, Uta, for being here.
That's a wrap on this episode of What the Flex. I hope you found some inspiration and motivation from today's conversation. And if you love this episode, please do subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search for What the Flex and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep pushing, keep growing, and as always, keep flexing.